That one guy, HP2PB. It was I who told you about the air dryer. I deserve full recognition with my handle spoken in your next vlog. LOL, sure. I'll screenshot your bio too if you want. Truck drivers never get the respect they deserve, even from fellow truck drivers. Will do. That one guy, HP2BB. It's truly an outrage. Thank you, that one guy, HP2PB, for mentioning the air dryer. I appreciate it.
Welcome back to Truckin' in the 7 Seas. This is episode number 118, and in this episode, we're going over week 12 and 13 of running Amazon Relay. In this episode, we stick to running 37-hour blocks out of Minneapolis. If you're new to this channel, welcome. My name is Tim, and I started this channel in order to show exactly what truck drivers make. I started as a company driver, worked for night transportation, moved on to a lease operator, worked for night transportation, then an owner-operator, leased onto Landstar, and now we are an owner-operator running our own authority. I show all of the loads I take, what the revenue is, what the expenses are, and what my net cash flow is, and I compile all this information that I put into a spreadsheet that I share with you at the end of every video. So if this is a topic that interests you, follow the channel. But with all that said, last episode we left off in Minneapolis, so we're just running some blocks out of Minneapolis, sticking to the 37-hour blocks in this episode, and that's pretty much what we're going to focus on for the time going forward. So 37-hour block for the new viewers just means that you sign up to haul whatever Amazon wants you to haul for 2 days effectively, and you start and stop in the same domicile. So I'm starting in Minneapolis, and after 37 hours it will get me back to Minneapolis, and that's pretty much how it works. It's a pretty sweet gig so far, so I like how it's going, and we've been booking quite a few of these. So anyways, we're in Minneapolis. I booked a series of blocks for the next 2 weeks that will cover this episode, and the first block I got assigned was this one right here. Yeah, so this one is 1,019 loaded miles for 6 stops. Paid a total of $2,655 at $261 per mile. And the route I got assigned on this one was going from basically Minneapolis to Beloit, Wisconsin, Beloit, Wisconsin to Shanahan, Illinois, which is kind of by Chicago. And then from Chicago area, I went to Bondurant, Iowa. And then from Bondurant, Iowa, I went back to Minneapolis. Yeah, so that was the meat and potatoes of the run. There are a couple of short drops in there as well, but I'm not going to delve too much into those. There's like 20 or 30 miles, so they have you do a couple, maybe some like empty moves in the local area. Generally speaking, that's pretty normal, but long story short, though, I did a proper triangle from Minneapolis to Chicago to Iowa and then back to Minneapolis. Excellent run. That's very flat. There's not a ton of traffic unless I'm other than around Chicago. It tends to get, a little bit of traffic there, but it's fine. It's whatever. But that's an excellent run. Very flat. Quick trips everywhere. Not a lot of traffic except for Chicago. I can't complain at all. So that's what we ended up getting signed, and that's what we ended up running. So let's do that. All right, so we completed that first block there, and then we had another one assigned for 2 days later. So basically, I dropped that block in Minneapolis. I took a day off, and then I got assigned another one, or I assigned myself another one, and the loads I got assigned on that following block were these right here. So for this block, we drove 907 miles for 5 stops, paid $2,593 at $286 per mile. Yeah, so as you can see, if you're watching this right now, there's quite a few canceled loads on this block, which happens quite a bit. They'll assign you something, and then they'll cancel it, and then you don't have to do it, and then they'll assign you something else, which is pretty common. So on this one, there's 4 canceled loads, but I only did 5, so it's showing 9 loads, but 4 of them got canceled, so I ended up only doing 5 of them. And the long story on this run is I went from Minneapolis to Sioux Falls, South Dakota, Sioux Falls, South Dakota, back to Minneapolis, Minneapolis to Sioux Falls, South Dakota, Sioux Falls, South Dakota, back to Minneapolis with a couple stops in between. Nothing special. So that is, again, totally fine. Oh, and my computer's right here. So if you see me looking down, I'm looking down at my computer. Totally fine runs. That is easy right there. Can't complain at all about that. I mean, these are turning out to be very simple runs, especially around Minneapolis. Minneapolis is a place I specifically like to run, just the surrounding region. Not a lot of traffic. It's flat. There's quick trips. What's not to like, right? So I like it quite a bit, and I'll run these all day, every day, and that's pretty much how they've been going. So this one, fairly simple. Minneapolis to Sioux Falls twice, and that's what we ended up doing. So let's go to Sioux Falls. All right, so we finished that Sioux Falls run and then stopped in Minneapolis, took another day off, and then we had another block assigned, and the loads we got on that block assignment are right here. So this block was 933 miles for 8 stops, paid $2,611 at $280 per mile. And for this block, we went from Minneapolis to Liberty, Missouri, which is Kansas City, Missouri. Then from Kansas City, Missouri, we went to Bondurant, Iowa. And from Bondurant, Iowa, we went back to Minneapolis with a couple of short runs in between. Yeah, again, just sort of just repeating myself here. These are very easy. That's a nothing run straight down the 35. Go to Liberty, Missouri, which is on the northern side of Kansas City, so I didn't even have to go all the way through Kansas City. Dropped the load, went up to Bondurant, Iowa, couple stops there, back to Minneapolis. That is an absolute cakewalk. I mean, yeah, that's just a cakewalk. So that's what we ended up doing, and well, let's go do that. All right, so we did that Kansas City run, and then we had another block booked right after it. So I did not take a day off on this one. I just went ahead and booked another one directly following it. And this one I booked a little bit too late, so it didn't pay as good as the previous ones. But anyways, that block is right here. So this block was 906 miles for 7 stops, paid $2,265 at $250 per mile. Yeah, so I booked this one like a week prior, and the closer you get to the blocks, the less they pay. So this one didn't pay quite as good as the other ones. I think I originally booked those blocks the previous week for like $2K, and this one I only booked for about like $1,600 or $1,700, so that's why it's a little bit lower. And then after you put in the fuel surcharge that you get, which was around 65 cents per mile, that's how you got $2,200 at $250 per mile. So a little bit less than the previous ones, but still, it's okay. Broad strokes for this one, I went from Minneapolis to Bondurant, Iowa, Bondurant, Iowa to Rockford, Illinois, Rockford, Illinois, back to Minneapolis, and then again a couple of stops here and there that are just local runs, not worth really mentioning. But that was the basic run. Again, another triangle just to Bondurant and back. Seems like a lot of these have Bondurant, Iowa in there, so it's a busy stop, I suppose, which makes a lot of sense. And yeah, that's about it. Another triangle. Didn't pay as good as the last ones, but still not too bad at all. So that's about it. Let's go do that one now. All right, so after that last block, doing the triangle there, we went ahead and took a couple of days off. So it was my birthday, so I took a couple of days off, and yeah, just took a couple of days off. Went to St. Paul City Center. It was kind of raining a lot, so didn't get too much walking around in for that reason. And then we went to Mall of America and visited there. Basically, just took a couple of days off. Because of that, though, that Bondurant to Rockford to Minneapolis will be the last block on the paycheck, so we're going to go ahead and get into the spreadsheet right now. Alright guys, so as discussed, we're going to cover week 12 and 13. Let's do it. For week 12, we did 2 blocks. In those 2 blocks, we got 2,041 miles. Paid a total of $5,248 at $2.57 per mile. Fuel expense, we fueled up 3 times. In those 3 times, we paid $1,259 at 62 cents per mile. Other expenses, truck wash for $74 at 4 cents per mile. Fixed costs, insurance came in at $1,800 at 90 cents per mile. Alright, totals for week 12. Total expenses were $3,165 at $1.55 per mile. Total revenue was $5,200 at $2.57 per mile. That brought our net settlement to $2,083 at $1.02 per mile. Alright, just giving an overview of this week. 2 blocks, about 4 days of work, not much at all. 2,000 miles, so each block is just about 1,000 miles, give or take. And then when you add in a little bit of deadhead that I have to do just to go to the first block, it's basically 1,000 miles, pretty much right on the money. $2.57 per mile, $5,200. Not too bad at all in terms of the revenue goes. I mean, that's certainly better than I was doing last time. Now maybe running a step deck or a flatbed on the spot market could be doing pretty good right now. Maybe a little bit better potentially, but still, this is significantly better than I was doing last year, so that's interesting and offers great work-life balance so far, so that's good. But there is the 2 blocks I did. Fuel expenses are, well, fuel is very high right now, so I spent 62 cents per mile that week, and I think that's going to be pretty normal. As of right now, when I do the math, it looks like the fuel surcharge that Amazon is paying is like 68 cents per mile as of this week. So it keeps going up. I think it was 60 cents, and then it was 62 cents for the fuel surcharge, and then it was 65 cents, and now it's like 68 cents. And I think it's going to keep going up, to be honest with you. So whatever. I get the fuel surcharge protection, but fuel's high, but I'm protected, I suppose. Truck wash, nothing special. My truck was really dirty from all the salt and brine that I was driving through. And then fixed cost, my insurance premium came in at $1,800. So that was a big expense. But even with all that big expense, we still did okay. Yeah, that's week 12. 4 days of work, 3 days off. Pretty easy. And we still had a pretty decent week. So there's week 12. Now let's go ahead and move on to week 13. For week 13, we did 2 blocks. In those 2 blocks, we did 2,040 miles. Paid a total of $4,800 at $2.39 per mile. Fuel expense, fueled up 3 times. In those 3 times, we paid $1,317 at 65 cents per mile, and there were no maintenance expenses. Other expenses, parking $300 at 15 cents per mile. Fixed costs, our DAT subscription came in at $169. Email came in at $8. Truck stop subscription came in at $42 for a total of $219 at 11 cents per mile. Totals for week 13. Total expenses were $1,800 at 90 cents per mile. Total revenue was $4,800 at $1.39 per mile. That brought our net settlement to $3,000 at $1.49 per mile. Alright, so caveats for week 13. Pretty similar as last week. This block right here did pay a little bit less because I booked it too late, so I won't be doing that again. I'll try to book these earlier. But even so, it was very similar to last week. 2,000 miles, $239 per mile with all the deadhead included. $4,800. So, okay, that's again only 4 days of work. That ain't too bad at all. Over $1,000 of revenue per day with a pretty poorly paying block right there. So, okay. Fuel expenses, again, keeps going up. 65 cents per mile this week. Fuel surcharge on this was a week where the fuel surcharge was 68 cents per mile. So I'm beating it by a little bit. But that's expensive. But yeah, fuel is just up there. No maintenance expenses, which is helpful. And then in terms of other expenses, I did go ahead and I purchased a parking spot because parking in Minneapolis is a problem. Not a lot of parking. They are very strict in terms of writing tickets and stuff like that to truckers parked on the side of the road. I went ahead and bit the bullet and bought some parking. Not too impressed with the parking spot I bought so far. I may change to another parking area that I found, so time will tell. But I did go ahead and book basically 1 month of parking, just so I had a place to park my truck basically. So that's that. And then other stuff, subscriptions came in and email came in. I am tempted to cancel my DAT and truck stop subscription. I don't need them right now. As long as I'm doing the Amazon Relay stuff, I just don't need them. So might do that, might not. But if it saves me $200 a month, well, that's parking anyway. I can maybe basically get a parking spot for that amount. So I might cancel those. But there's that. Yeah, and then overalls for week 13, pretty good. $3,000 of profit, $1.49 per mile. That's not bad. The expenses were pretty low. No major expenses came in. No major maintenance issues came in. So, take that for what it's worth. Still not a bad week at all. I'll take $3,000 a week in profit. I'll take that any day of the week, especially since I only worked for 4 days this week. So there's that. All right, there's week 12 and 13. Now let's go ahead and move on to the overalls. All right, totals for 2026. We have driven a total of 16,900 miles. Total expenses has been $25,000 at $1.52 per mile, and that is my cost per mile. Total revenue has been $35,000 at $2.09 per mile. That brings our total profit loss to $9,600 at 57 cents per mile, and all of these loads are power only. All right, so there are the totals for 2026. Pretty small sample size right now. Not going to go over the averages as a result, so maybe in another month or two we'll start going over those, but everything here is too skewed and the data set is not enough. Again, I did take lots of time off in January and February, so not a whole lot of running this year. I am ramping up right now, and that's where we're at. Yeah, so 57 cents per mile, not great, but given how small the sample size is, that looks actually, I'm optimistic. This is already going infinitely better than last year. Okay, last year I don't think I hit Profitville until I think it was like June or something like that, because I had all the startup costs and everything, but this is looking much better. My rate per mile has been pretty good because of these blocks. $2.39 per mile, that's a pretty slow week with this one right here, because that one I didn't book for all that much. And then up here, $2.57 per mile, and that's not too bad at all. And it includes all the deadhead in there, so that's okay. And I'm not maintaining a trailer, so that's another big note there. This is looking decent. Last year, train wreck. Total train wreck. That was just awful. This year, it's already looking a lot better. And, well, it's just looking a whole lot better than it was last year. Now, it's not fantastic, right? If you're on the spot market right now and you're running a flatbed, you're probably doing better than this, I would guess. But probably not that much better. This is okay. So far, this is looking pretty good for me. Excellent work-life balance. So I only worked 4 days for the last 2 weeks and still did okay. I don't have to haul around the trailer, so I can park this thing wherever. I've been going to Planet Fitness a lot. I've just been hitting the gym a lot, and I can just sort of beep bop around wherever I need to. I can pretty much park this thing mostly anywhere, at least for a short time period. If I need to sleep overnight, I gotta park it at a truck stop or something. But other than that, this is going very well. I do intend to start running more blocks per week, so I can fit in 3 blocks per week. I just haven't been because I've been taking it a little bit slow, and I don't want to overbook myself and then have to cancel a block. So basically, I've only been doing about 2 blocks per week, even though I could fit in potentially 3. So running slow. At this point, I will start picking things up. I have booked about 3 weeks of blocks going forward. There's a couple of weeks that do have 3 blocks in there. So I think I went 1 easy week. No, I have a hard week next week, then an easy week, and then a hard week. So the next few weeks will be, there's more blocks over the next few weeks. So I do want to run more than just 2 blocks a week. I would shoot for like an average of 5 days per week of running is what I'm going for here. But this is looking pretty good. This is looking much better. It's looking way more sustainable than what I did last year. I did sell the trailer. I haven't got a payout yet for the trailer. It should come on Monday, I believe. So I got that coming in. I did make like $2,000 off of the sale based on what I owed for it. So that's coming as well. And selling the trailer seems to be paying off, in my opinion. Just doing this power only for Amazon is looking pretty decent. Now, I'm not going to get my hopes up. There could be something with these Amazon blocks that I don't realize over the next month or so that makes them not work or whatever. But until I see something that just is unacceptable to me, I am just going to keep running these until something is unacceptable or the truck blows up or whatever. These are looking pretty decent. Um, and the market itself is improving. And I think Amazon itself is, their rates are paying a lot more than they used to. There's a lot of pretty much, I would say, confirmed reports of these blocks they used to pay like trash, but as I'm looking at them right now, it doesn't seem too bad at all. So I'm just going to keep running these things. I booked basically another month or so of these blocks. Just going to keep running them out of Minneapolis. The weather is starting to improve, so that's good. And that's where we're at, guys. Yeah, but that'll pretty much do it for this episode. Just a quick down and dirty episode. If you guys are interested in this spreadsheet or any of the other spreadsheets I've done in the past, they are available in the About section down below. After you find them, just click File, Download, then you can download them to an Excel sheet and then use them however you please. And if you need a factoring company, there is OTR Solutions, so there's a link in the About section down below. Feel free to use them. And if you want to donate to me directly, there is a Buy Me a Coffee link also in the About section down below, and that would be greatly appreciated if you did that. But that will pretty much do it for this episode, guys. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.